Hello everybody, Incon here with another Twitching Answers. As you guys know, it has been crazy hectic lately. I haven't done a Your Twitching Answers video in a while, and I finally have a moment to do one, and it's right after I just got done doing other stuff. I'm not even wearing pants right now. So, it's crazy, but I've got to get in the shower, but I've got just a moment, and I want to get a Your Twitching Answers video out for those of you guys that, don't get to come to the streams and stuff, and you want to, still have your questions answered and whatnot, which is why I started this series, and I definitely want to keep this series going and upload a video or two a week, so I'm going to try to get back into that now that some of the crazy stuff has died down. So, J Draconic asks, don't know if anybody asked you that, but if Smite did not exist, doesn't exist, period, and you did not get into any other game competitively, what career would you have pursued? And that's an interesting question. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to spend as much time with video games as I do. I would have never started streaming without getting into competitive Smite or YouTube for that matter. I was at the time in university working towards a computer science degree, which basically I worked towards, and after basically 2 years, I went, wait, you're too stupid for this. What are you doing? So I stopped with the computer science degree, and I switched over to a business management degree, which is really when I started hitting off on Twitch and YouTube and really getting serious about esports practice and growing the Twitch and Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff. And so I would have gone into business management. I live in an area that happens to have beta centers of like Walmart and Tyson and JB Hunt and stuff. So I would have ended up in a typical business job. Crocodile asks, yo Incon, would you rather have sex with Afro or stop getting hit by Janasol? See now, one of these answers may seem more tempting than the other, and it is, and I would rather stop getting hit by a Janasol, because I don't know if you know this, but it's the most frustrating thing to ever happen, and if I could stop getting hit by Janasol, I'd be able to enjoy everything else in life. I could have sex with Afro, and all I'd be thinking about is, I swear to God, if I get hit by Janasol right now, I'm going to be so pissed. Anyway, Goonie Goo Goo asks, don't you think that Smite is sometimes boring and repetitive? Now this is a funny question because at the time of this being asked, this would have been a different answer, right? This would have been, yeah, I mean, as the meta sets, things start to get a bit repetitive. I don't think it's boring, but things do get repetitive as it's like, okay, Khepri's the best god, Athena's the best god, we're going to pick Khepri, we're going to pick Athena if they're open, right? But now that Season 3 is here, this is when everything blows up and gets crazy because it's not the same meta anymore, right? It's totally new. You gotta learn builds, you gotta learn what items are OP, you gotta learn what gods are OP, you gotta learn when to rotate, you gotta learn when to not rotate, where are the new ward locations, what actives do I get, all this crazy stuff. And that's what makes MOBA so exciting to me, is the fact that they change every so often. They change really bigly every once in a while, but there's still the iteration patches throughout. Guzar Tariq asks, hey Incon, what do you tell people when they ask you what your job is? Sometimes I play video games for a living. If I'm talking to somebody my age, around my peer group, if I'm talking to older generation, sometimes I don't go with that approach because saying I play video games for a living is basically them saying, oh, you sit in your room all day and you play video games and you're going to die of heart disease, which yeah, maybe I'm going to get a blood clot because I sit down all day, but I try to not do that by working out. But not the point. The point being, if it's my peer age, I say I get paid to play video games, they go, oh man, that's so cool, blah, 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 they want to hear about it. Older generation, a lot of times we're like, they're Schmigger, Hinneman, Jensen, they're working on cars, factory jobs, anyway. But most of the time, if you talk to them about, being an online performer, I guess, kind of thing, they can get a little bit more into it. If you compare it to more, TV style, I run a cooking show, but I run a game show, but not like a game show. I'm not spinning a wheel on Wheel of Fortune. I'm not bankrupt. But they can get it more similar that way, it seems. And lastly, why Benjamin asks, how much casual conquest do you recommend before going into ranked? So that's a good question. A lot of people are very nervous to go play ranked, and rightfully so, especially at lower tiers. Bronze, silver, gold. Those people are usually really serious about trying to climb the ladder. And so if you get into their games and you don't know what you're doing, they're going to say noob and other way less kind words to you if you don't know what you're doing. So, general rule, have the top 5 gods in each role mastered. Period. every role, have at least a top 5 mastered, plus an additional 10 of your favorite personal gods, okay? So have quite a bit of gods mastered. Second of all, you best have played quite a bit of Conquest before going into ranked. If you're playing Arena all day and then you go right into ranked Conquest, everybody's going to hate you. You best know the start. Most importantly, you best know the meta start. That way people don't get mad at you right off the bat. You best know the start builds. And you best know the first start of rotations. That kind of like first 5 to 10 minutes of the game you better have down, because that's the kind of stuff that if your teammates get pissed then, it's over and there's no coming back. Even if you're supposed to win that game, you're not going to win that game because your team's already pissed. So that's what I would recommend before going into it. Thank you guys for giving me those questions. Don't forget, guys, I could be answering your questions next week. Don't forget to leave your questions in the comments below, guys, and I will get around to doing another Twitching Answers in the upcoming week, and I will let you guys know exactly what you want to know the answers to. That's kind of what the series is about. So thank you guys for watching the video, and of course, thank you for those of you that subscribe to the channel. That helps out a whole bunch, and as always, have a twitching day, y'all.